All right, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this Friday afternoon. I'm really excited to share with you some stamping today. I am going to be using the Pretty Perennials to create 3 cards for you. But I'm also going to be sharing tips with you on how to use the Stamparatus. The Stamparatus is such a fun tool. And I hope that you, whether you're joining me live right now or you're going to be watching the recording, that you're going to be able to take the tips that I share with you today and use it with your Stamparatus. Now I know some of you may have a Stamparatus that's sitting on a shelf and you don't use it very often, and others of you may use it all the time. You might be new to the Stamparatus, and I hope that you fall in love with it like I have. The Stamparatus is such a fun tool, and it's really a great product to help with your stamping needs. So I'm going to share with you first what comes with the Stamparatus. So your Stamparatus comes with a base plate like this, and then when you flip it over, there's going to be 2 magnets right here and right here. Now these magnets are very strong and you do not want to get them next to each other. That's why they have them spread apart. If you pull it off and we put it down, you notice that this is all magnetic. Now you're also going to receive 2 plates, and they fit in here like this. And then your second plate can come here at the top. That way you can have multiple stamps on here that you're going to be able to stamp with. Now we have 2 different types of stamps. And one of them, like we're going to be using today, let me get this out here really quickly. Are our photopolymer stamps. Now our photopolymer stamps are clear, they don't have rubber on them, and they're going to stick on just like that. The other type of stamps that we have are our cling mount, and they come with rubber. So when you are using the Stamparatus, you want to make sure you have that layer of foam. So if you are using this one that I have here, this butterfly one, you're able to stamp right onto this mat and it's going to give you a nice image. But if you're using the clear or the photopolymer, you're going to want to add a foam plate here. It's just a piece of foam, and it comes in 2 different ways. One of them is this foam one that is included in, is an extra piece you can add on. And the other is this one I'm going to be using in a little bit today. What's neat about this one, of course, is that it has all the lines on it. So it takes the place of this one. But these are just 2 different options you can add on. I'm going to set this aside right there. And then one other thing that you might want to add, and I use it a lot, is this mini grid paper. It's perfect to set right on top of your Stamparatus base. And that way, when you're stamping, if anything goes off, it goes on the paper, and you're not having to worry about it get on here. Now, though, you can wipe this off easily. Hi, Kim. Hi, Rhonda. You can totally do that. This is just nice and keeps it nice and neat. Now, as I said, it has the 2 plates. You can have images on both sides, like that. And it comes with the 2 magnets. And you can purchase additional plates, and you can also purchase additional magnets. The first thing I want to show is one of the things that I think most people love the Stamparatus for. I am just going to grab a piece of paper. I think I was going to stick it right here about in the middle. Add my magnet right there. Let me grab the other magnet. Flip it over here. Let's see if I can set it about right there. It's going to be tricky with this one because it is a large background, but I'm not even worried that it's going to go off the edge because I'm just trying to show you one of the things that I love about it. So we're going to go off the edge. I'm going to go ahead and set it down like that on my paper. I'm going to fold over my pad, my plate here. I'm going to rub it pretty good. And then I'm just going to take my black ink pad. Now one thing that helps is if you slide a stamp pad or a stamp set or an ink pad or something underneath that, it's going to help you with your coverage. So I'm pressing it like this, versus if this wasn't here, your plate's kind of leaning down and it doesn't get that nice solid contact. So we're going to ink that up like that. All right. I'm going to go over and just push this down, la-di-da, you know. Let's see what happens. Well, we have all these spots right here that aren't really solid, and we want to make sure that we get those solid. So let's go ahead and add a little ink. Now, because the paper is secure with the magnets, we know it's staying in place. We are able to re-ink our stamped image, press it down, and know that it's going to go right in the same place. Let's see if this is a little bit better. I'm going to give it a little rub. There we go. So now we have a nice clean image, nice clean stamped image. So that is one of the basic things that I think the Stamparatus is great for. You can use this on all of your stamping needs, or you can just use it here and there. One of the other things I've also found is that if you don't have a large stamp pad and you want to stamp one of our larger ones, whether it's this big or even smaller, you can take and use this plexi as an actual stamp pad, or a stamping block, I should call it, not a stamp pad. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm just going to take this scrap paper right here. I'm going to turn this over and then press it down. Just like that. Now you might say, why would you want to do that? Well, let's just say, for instance, I'm doing a card and I only want to have this little corner done here. So it's kind of hard sometimes to adjust that on the actual Stamparatus. So I'm going to go up here and just ink this corner. I think I'll turn it this way. I'm going to flip this over, and then I'm just going to add these butterflies in the corner. So now I can just position my large stamp wherever I want it. So both of these ideas are just great ideas for giving a nice and a solid image when you're stamping. Let me set that aside now. And then I'm going to start making a couple of projects and show you what other things we can do with it. Let me clean this up here a little bit. All right. Making sure I'm a little bit more centered here for you. All right. Now, as I said, we are using our Pretty Perennial stamp set. I'm using a lot of the stamps, and I've used the stamp a ton. It comes with these coordinating dies here that we're going to be using, and then it has the stamped images over here. So let me set this aside. Isn't that awesome? I love this big happy and then the words that coordinate with it. Now the Pretty Perennials stamp set is in our mini catalog, and this stamp set is not going to be in our new annual catalog. So if you like the images from this stamp set and the bundle with the die cuts, you might want to pick that up soon. All right, the other product we're going to be using is our True Love Designer Series paper. Now some of this is only partial sheets because I've been using it on a lot of different projects. It's in with our Valentine's section of the mini catalog. And one of the things I love about it is all black and white. So on one side, you're going to be getting these geometric images. And then when we flip it over, let's see if I can get all of them in here. You're going to get floral images. So we have some more solid ones. We have these bolder ones that are spread out more. These would be great to cut out. Here's some more, and then here's some more. So they're really fun images. What I love about the black and white paper, the True Love, is that you can use it for so many different things. You just add color to it. And that's what I'm doing today in my projects. Now the first card I'm going to share with you today is a simple one here made on a note card. I have the happy and then the you make me right there. Let me get my pieces out. Now on my card, I'm using some of our in color enamel dots, some of our ribbon from our, oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of it right now. Flowers for Every Season ribbon bundle. So this is just jade gingham, and there's a white, and then there's a twine that comes with it. Here is some of that True Love paper, and then we have our note card. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my note card here in half. I'm going to set that aside, and then I'm going to bring my Stamparatus up here. All right. I'm doing a couple different projects, and what I did so that I would know where to put my paper for the different projects, is I used a little bit of, see these cling together. You don't want them to cling together. There we go. Okay, you don't want them to smack together because you'll find that they might break apart. I think I have some extra magnets on the back, as you can see. This is one here that actually broke because it slammed so hard together, but I saved it because it's still good to use when you need it. Let me move this one aside too. I don't want them banging and breaking on me while I'm going. All right, let's get started here. So I have a couple different plates, and this one here has the word happy. So I'm going to set that in there. So this is my note card one. Let's rotate this around. I'm going to slide that off and slide that in. So my marker shows it that I want it to go right there. Let me see. That's a little bit high. I know I'm doing two different happy ones. And since I marked them way ahead of time, let's see if I was supposed to turn it this way. Wow. I guess I have it a little bit mixed up on here, so I am just going to figure this out this way. I'm going to take my card, slide it up there. There we go. Okay. One of the cards I'm making, I'm doing what's called a step one, and I think when I put this in, I just had it down lower. So here I have my word happy. My card is secure on here. I have my heavy magnet right there, and I'm going to take my Memento black ink, scoot this over. I'm going to slide that stamp set under here just to give it nice and a secure place. I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to go over here and just press it down. It needs a little bit more in a couple spots, so let's go ahead and we're going to ink that up again and just press again. All right, I think that looks good. Now I'm going to bring the second plate and I'm going to attach it to the stop. And as you see, I've already set it up so that it is going to go right here where it says, "You make me happy." I'm going to pull this back. Let's see if we can get it in the camera. I think I need to move my camera up a little bit higher. And then I'm just going to dab it with some of our Misty Moonlight ink. I like to keep a wipe or something close by so I can wipe off the plexi, if I happen to get it out on the edges. So let's press that down. And as you can see, there's a little leaf here. This is for another project, but it's still going to be just fine. And there we have the "You Make Me Happy." So I'm going to slide this off, and I'm going to set that back. And now we'll go ahead and put our card together. I took a piece of the Designer Series paper and cut it to fit. So this is our note card. It's 5 by 3.5. And this is 2 inches by 5 inches. I started coloring, and you might be thinking, what are those colors that you're using? Well, we have a couple new colors that are coming out, new in colors. This one here is our Pale Papaya. What I love about our new in colors is that we have Stampin' Blends for all of them this time. This one here is Fresh Freesia. And then this one here is Soft Succulent. Soft Succulent. So those colors. So we're going to be using some of those. And then we're also using, one of my favorite ones that's going away is Seaside Spray. So I started coloring in some of the flowers already just so that I could get a head start and you weren't watching me color for a long time. But I'm going to go ahead and just bring in the light pale papaya. And I'm just doing one color. I'm not really shading. I'm not doing a lot of fancy stuff. You could definitely do that. These are our alcohol-based markers. And what I like about them is that when you color with them, they don't leave lines and they just blend really well. You can shade with them. You can add in the darker tone. You can add in different colors. They're just a really fun way to color. They're very vivid, they're quick, and fun to work with. Let's see. So this paper, you could change it up and use any color combination that you want. And this Designer Series paper, True Love, is going to be discontinued. And so once it is gone, it's gone. It's in our mini catalog. The mini catalog does go through the end of June, but as time goes on, some things may not be available. So if you do see something that you really like, you want to try and get it sooner than later. I'm just trying to grab these. I'm trying not to have too much of one color in one space, but it is very random. But I love how these colors do blend together. All right, do a couple more of that pale papaya. And I think I see a couple leaves that I've missed, so I can add some in there. All right, let's go with that. And then let's add a little bit of that Soft Succulent. It's just a really super pretty color. Get those leaves. I missed a few here. All right, I think that's close enough. Now I'm going to bring my card base back in. I'm just using some of our Stampin' Seal. And I'm going to line this up right here along the top. Just like that. Then I'm going to take a piece of our Just Jade. And I like how the Just Jade and the Soft Succulent kind of blends together. So in something like this, I'm able to use our different shades of product and just blend them together. There we go. Let me bring in my scissors, and I seem to be missing my good scissors. All right, let's hope. Let's see. Just trim this off just a smidge. There we go. And then I'm going to use a couple of these enamel dots. I'm going to put that one in there and that one right there. So that's just a simple little add-on to my card. Quick and easy. What I like about being able to stamp my sentiments like I did with the two different colors and make sure they line up right is that I can make multiple cards and just keep going and going, and they're all going to be just fine. I know they're going to go exactly where I want them. Now I had a scrap of the striped ribbon here, and it's about 2 inches by 6, I believe. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere it onto my envelope, my little flap. Make sure I get it all the way up there on that crease. And then I'm going to flip it over and cut it off. Make sure I get it all the way on the edge there. So showing the Stamparatus is fun, but you have to make a project along with it. So I'm just going to be sharing with you a couple different tips as I make each card on things that you can do with it. Now this would be kind of boring if I didn't add some color. So I'm going to come back in with my Stampin' Blends. Now there's 2 different ends. There's a fine tip end and there is a brush tip end like that. So I'm going to take the fine tip end and I'm just going to go straight down and color in those stripes. So just a little something simple. I'm not going to do this full one, but I'll bring in my other card, or my other envelope I did earlier, just to share with you how I did that. So now here is my little striped top with that card. I think that just adds a lot, having that little bit of addition there. Okay, let's bring in our next card. And it is this one right here. And let me show you how I did these flowers. I made a template for my flowers. Let me see, I think it's going to go this way. Sometimes when you just start playing, everything just kind of goes where it wants to go. There we go, it's lining up. Okay. So again, I had my paper, I had my mark right here, so I knew the corner was going to go in there. And I had these two because I was using them on another project, but I went ahead and still kept my same template. Now what you can do is, once you have that, is you can take your actual images, especially with these photopolymer, and I can set them right inside like that. Let's see if we set that one in there. And then I can come back over and I can press, and it's going to pick those images up. And then I know that I have it right in place. So let me bring my pieces here. And I realize I put ones in here that were already stamped, but that's okay. We're going to still go over them and stamp them again. Let's see. Turn that again. Turn it again. One more time. There we go. All right, so one of the reasons that I really like being able to stamp my die cuts this way, you can design a card, and if you were, let's say you wanted to make 2 or 3 of the same card, you would be stamping your images on your paper, then you take it to the die cut machine and die cut it, then you would come back and put your card together. What I like to do is I like to set this up if I'm going to make multiple cards, and I have a template, so then I can take my scraps of paper and I can die cut a whole bunch of flowers and then sit here and just do one after another after another. So maybe I wanted 5 of these on a card. Well, I'd be able to do that just really quickly and know that the colors were going to match up. So let me grab our first one here. This is our new color, Fresh Freesia. Freesia, I think that's how you say it. I probably will learn as we go. I'm just going to ink up that image there. Make sure I get that really well. One thing I have found too is that if you notice on our ink pads, this one right here is close to the edge. This one's further away. So if you're trying to direct it and get it right on top of where that image is, if you use that top section, I think it's going to work a little bit better. Hi Karen, how you doing? And then I'm going to come back again with that edge, and I'm just going to ink it up and set that aside. I'll bring this back down, and then I can stamp my images. There we go. So we have that one, and then we have this one. Okay, I'm going to set that back aside for 1 second. Let's get all these pieces together, and then I'm going to show you how I did this one right here. I'm just kind of separating those pieces. There we go. We're going to fold our card in half, and I'm going to grab my bone folder. It's hiding under those markers. There we go. All those pieces there so I don't lose those. And then I'm going to bring in my other plate. Now I have a couple Stamparatuses, so I have to say I do have extra plates, so that does make it convenient for something like I'm doing today, where I'm showing you multiple different cards and stuff with it. want to make sure I have this set in the right spot. I think I should have numbered these as I was going so that I would make sure I had them in the right spot. But we're just going to play with it here. Okay. That's not going to work. Don't you guys like it when, as a demonstrator, we come on and we mess up on something? I think sometimes it really makes us all feel a little bit better that we do. So I'm just going to line this up on this line. So it is lined up straight along here. And then when I put this down, it's right here on the line. Okay? So let's go ahead and let's ink that up. My black stamp pad. I'm going to ink that up. Making sure I get this in here for you. I definitely need to move my camera up, but I'm going to keep it this way for today. So I'm going to stamp that on there. I'm going to lift my plate. I'm going to ink it again. But what I'm going to do is move it down. I'm going to drop it down one of these things right here. So we'll press it again. And then we'll ink it up. And then I'm going to move it one more down. Ink it, move it up. We'll ink it again. This is one way of doing a step stamp image. So as I keep going, I'm just moving it along, and I am able to create a line of words all the way along the bottom of my card. When you want a border, you want something like that, this works perfect for it. All right, let's do a little bit of assembly here now for our little card. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the piece of the polka dotted paper here. Now the Stampin' Seal is a really strong adhesive. It doesn't take very much. It actually has like little teeny strips. It looks like it's hanging over a little bit on the top there, so I'm just going to take my scissors and trim that off. I'd always rather have it a little bit longer than too short. And I'm going to take my stripe here, which you can see it's the same designer series paper we used on the last card, but I'm using the other side. Add that stripe along there. Now this right here is a new twine that we have coming in our new catalog starting next month. And it's our basic pack. It has the black, it has crumb cake white. This looks like probably our gray granite and some vanilla. So you're gonna get 5 rolls in your pack. I'm gonna go ahead and tie a bow around here at the bottom. And one thing that I like to do, sometimes it's hard to tie your bow and have it, you know, be snug and secure. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my glue dots here, and I'm going to take and just roll it up so it's a little skinny little piece. I'm going to put it down right where I want my bow to go, and then I'm going to press my twine right in there. Now it's secure and it's staying right there, and I can easily tie a bow on there and know that it's going to stay in place and it's not going to be loose and wobbly. All right, there we go. Now we have our pieces here. I'm going to use a glue dot again. This is one of the die cuts that comes with the Pretty Perennials. I'm going to put that in the bottom right there. And then I'm going to take my leaves, another die cut from the Pretty Perennials, and I'm going to add a couple dimensionals on top of that. Brand new pack here. Let's see. kind of heading for where I think my large flower is going to go. But this is good. Oops, it's going to hold it down securely for me. There we go. So I'm going to add another one at the top and another one at the bottom. That will give us plenty of hold on this larger flower. And then we can put that on just like that. Now let's add the smaller one. Again, we're going to add a dimensional to that one. And I just put one in the middle. I'm going to add my flower, let's say right there. And then I have a couple leaves that I die cut out, and I'm going to go ahead again and use those glue dots. You could use the fine tip glue. You could have attached them beforehand, but I'm never really sure where I want to add them. And so using the glue dots, they stay secure right when you put them down. And you don't have to worry about them coming out. So there we go. Last one is this little blue. This one here is the Misty Moonlight, the color that we used in the last card. It's one of the in colors that is going to be around for one more year. I put that one right there. And now I have some of our black matte dots. This was a product that is in our mini catalog, but it's also going to be staying into our new annual catalog. And I'm really, really excited. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to grab a hold of the dots. It has like a little putty on the end. I will say sometimes with these larger ones, you might want to use the pointed part right here, but I think I got it okay there. Let's grab a little one, put that right in there. All right, so we have our card done, but let's decorate that envelope a little bit too. Can't have a naked envelope. I'm going to go ahead and add some of our stripe here. Now I'm kind of having it go off the edge a little bit, and then I'm just going to trim it off. A lot of times when you're using the paper, you have like 6-inch strips, and so it's nice to be able to make sure it goes nice and solid all the way to the ends. Now this paper is a little bit narrower. It's not as wide. And I just realized I missed one thing I'm going to have to fix on my card. It's not as wide, so I'm just adding some adhesive, but I'm not going all the way to the end. And I'm going to put this right on top. This is just using a scrap piece of paper that I had. I'm going to turn this over and trim the ends first. And then I'll come to this side and we're just going to square it off. So it's not going to be as large of a flap. And you might need to add a little bit of adhesive to close it, but you can see there's still a little bit there. All right, let me fix this right here. I need to pop this guy off for just a second. And I forgot to add this little detail. So let me grab another one of our glue dots. And we can put that right on top there and now add that on. So it just gives even a little bit more dimension. Don't you just love these flowers? They're so much fun to play with. All right, so that is card number 2. All right, I am just going to put this back down where my die cuts are. I keep turning it because it has the different sides, and I'm probably making it look more difficult when I'm here trying to show you how easy it is to do it. Oh well, that's me. A little bit silly sometimes. Okay, so we have that set up. Now when I set this up, I was just using the white paper that I die cut this out of. And this time, I have some of the colored paper. So now you get to see some of our new colors that are coming out in paper. So this one here, we're going to fit that in. Hi Sherry, hi Sue, thanks for joining me. Just doing some fun cards today. Now I'm just rotating this around till I get it to where it fits, and my watch is talking to me while I'm doing this, so I'm going to move that away from me a little bit so it won't answer me if I talk to you. So we have both pieces in here. So even though my base I did out of our regular white cardstock, when I go to add in the paper, I can still use our regular colored cardstock too. So let me just turn that to the side. Again, I'm going to ink up the flower right here. Just dabbing it with my ink pad. Let's bring in our other one. We're going to ink that up right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and press that down. Get that good. There we go. So here is just a little bit different look from that last card. So here the images are on actually white, and then here they're on the coordinating color. So it just gives a little bit different look. And next I'm going to bring in to do my leaves. And that's going to match up right there. And I have a couple leaves here. I probably have extras, but let's go ahead and put one there. Set that one aside. Press that down. And it looks like I had two stacked on each other, but there we go. There's our leaf, and now we've got another one already ready to go. And this is where if you have multiple ones, you just put the next one in, you press, it's ready to go. I do like using my take your pick tool to pop them out if they seem like they're sticking. We can plop one more in there, ink it up, and press down. You kind of feel like you're going to town, just getting a whole bunch of fun things stamped. So here we have our pieces now. Let's see. We have this one's going to layer on there. This one's going to layer on here. We have a little bit of extra one here. And then let me show you this card before we get started. This one I'm going to be stamping this whole row of happy, and then we're going to add all of these on. I am looking at my set right here, and I just realized I need to die cut out a circle. So I'm going to bring out one of my favorite die cuts here. These are our stitch circle dies. Something that makes me a little sad is that those stitch circle dies are going away. If you have a die cut machine and you love die cutting, then there's something you probably would like to get. Now, I just hopped up real quick to grab my mini die cut machine. It's handy. I can put it right here on my desk. I'm going to be using 3 plates. I have our base plate right here, number 1, and then we have these right here. They're plexi plates. So I'm going to put in a piece of white paper, lay my die right on top, slide this in, and get it going. Sometimes when I'm on this mat, it makes it a little bit harder. There we go. It doesn't grip to the paper as easily it does to my table, so makes me, next time I'll move this pad when I go to die cut something for you. It definitely would make it look a lot easier. It is easy, but it seems to slip when it's on the paper. Let's put that down. All right. So we've got those pieces. Now I'm going to bring in some of that Misty Moonlight ink, and we're just going to stamp our sentiment on there. So this is Misty Moonlight paper, and this is Misty Moonlight ink. We're going to use that again in just a second. And I'm going to grab, this is our classic label punch. It just punches out this little strip here. I love it when I'm doing words like this because I can just use scraps of paper and then pull it in and punch it out. This is also retiring. It's a classic label punch. Now, once I'm done with this, I will add all of the product that I'm using so that if there's anything that I've used that you're interested in, you will have all the numbers and links to go right to my online web store. All right, so we can get that out of there. Now we're ready for the fun stuff. Let's bring back our Stamparatus. And like we did earlier when we did the step stamping, we're going to do that again. I'm going to pull these pieces off of here so we don't need those anymore. I'm just going to set this up. I'm pulling these all off. I did them beforehand. I thought that would make it handy for me to do it, but you know, I think it's going to be easier just for me to go ahead and line this up. So we're going to see, and now you get to see how I actually do it. So if you look here, it's right into this box. So this is the corner right here. So when I put my card down, I'm going to put my card in that corner. I'm going to put my magnets down here. I'm going to pull that over, and it's right about there. And if I look at my sample card, if I remember correctly, it went a little bit above. So let me fix that. I was going to stamp right on my card instead of stamping on my extra piece of paper, because you'll notice it's going to get layered on here. All right, let's see. Move that down. All right, I think that looks pretty good. There we go. I'm even going to pull these off because we don't need those anymore. Let me wipe this off a little bit because I feel like my hands are getting ink and I don't want the ink to get on this part that I'm doing. All right, there we go. We've already started. Okay, let's ink up our happy. We're going to put it down. And then we're going to take, again, we're doing the hinge, so we're going to drop it down one. We are going to ink this up. And again, I'm going to slide this under here because I know it will help a little bit. I'm going to ink that up. See if I can get that in the picture a little bit better. Do my happy. We'll ink that up. And you can ink it up or you can move it down first. It's whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't matter. I think it's probably easier to move the hinge down first and then ink it up, but really it's okay either way. You see we're getting this whole row of happies all the way down. So I love it when I find a stamp that, you know, I can just keep going and going all the way down. There we go. Hi, Kim. Hi, Martha. Thank you guys for joining me. All right, so now we have our piece stamped. We have this nice row even of happies all the way down. Now I can move our pieces aside and we can start putting things together. All right, I'm going to take this strip of our True Love Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to add it right here along the side, just like that. I'm going to take some of our linen thread. And I'm going to leave a tail hanging down towards the bottom, and I'm going to wrap it around my card 2 times. Come back up to about there, and then I'm just going to cut this off. I'm kind of taking a guess, so hopefully I have plenty. I'm going to use that trick again. I'm going to roll my little glue dot and kind of hold it there in place. Now this one, let's see, I think I have the string a little bit. I need to move it a little bit. I'm just going to tug at it a little bit. There we go. All right. I'm going to kind of push it down. Now, I'm not going to keep this here for the whole time. I'm just using that glue dot to help me with my bow this time. So once I tie the bow, I'm not really going to push down too much. I'm going to kind of pull it up a little bit. But it held it in place long enough for me to be able to tie that bow without a problem. Now I'm going to take some dimensionals and put it on the back of this white paper. It's our stitch circle. And this is why I didn't want to totally push it down on there. I'm going to take this and I'm going to tuck it under here because I wanted the baker's twine to come over my card like that. Now we're going to flip this over and add some more dimensionals to the back. can never have enough dimensionals. I tell myself that so many times. I ordered today and I had to order a couple more packs again because I seem to use them. I don't want to say too much, but I love using them. So, all right, we're just going to plop this down right there. All right, so I'm going to start out with my large flower. And I'm going to stick it right here at the top. And then I'm going to take my little bit smaller one. And I'm going to add that right here off the side. We'll take some glue dots and put on our little detail on those flowers. Now again, this is our Pretty Perennials bundle that I'm using. It has the stamps and the die cuts, and it is going away. So I love this set. It is so fun to use. So if you don't have it and you want to get it soon so that you have it. But I love how the dies work, how there's the little detail that's added on extra to them. It's just, let's see, I think this one I'm going to tuck under here a little bit. Yeah, maybe stick it in here. All right. And then the little birthday, I am just going to take my little edge right here and trim off a piece. Make it a little bit smaller. Perfect. And then I can add that right there. I think I'm gonna bring back, I used rhinestones I think on my first one, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and bring these black matte dots and put them right on top there. There we go. All right, so let me bring the 3 cards back in here. Let's see if I can get them all to fit in. All right, so we had a little bit of fun. We used some of the True Love Designer Series paper, which is black and white. We used the Pretty Perennials stamp set here with the coordinating dies, and we use the Stamparatus. So here we use the Stamparatus just for the placement of our sentiment. We did the happy on one plate and then brought in the you make me in another color off another plate. On this one, we stamped our die cuts by using the template right here. And then we did a step process of doing our for you all along the bottom. And then the last card here, we again did our flowers with the die cut and the template, and then we did a step but going down with the large happy all the way down. Well, I hope you enjoyed the 3 cards that I created today and the fun tips that I gave you with the Stamparatus. If you like the projects that I did and you'd like to purchase any of the product, my host code is right here. Let me scoot that over just a little bit, and it will be good through next Thursday. If you place an order of $25 or more, you're going to get the card kits here. You'll get the die cuts cut out, you will get the designer series paper and the 2-note cards and everything you need except for the stamp sets and ink and adhesive. So with any order over $25, you're going to get that. And if you have any questions about the Stamparatus or anything about the cards I made today, make sure to message me or put it in the comments and I'd be happy to answer your questions. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.